Hi guys, welcome to my channel again. My name is Nono D, and it's been a week now since my last video, and the reason for that is because, as everybody knows, the news is finally out. Siya has parted ways with the Western Province and Stormers, and has moved on to the Sharks. So this it broke my heart because I've been a staunch Stormers supporter since I was in high school, and like 20 years later, here we are, and I don't even know who to support anymore because a lot of my favorite players either moved on to other teams in the SA Rugby or have moved on overseas, which is what I prefer. Rather go overseas, don't go to another team, another rival team, especially the Bulls or the Sharks. But yeah, because the first time they spoke about this, the rumors about like him moving on to another team away from the Stormers was on the 7th of Jan when SA Rugby reported that MVM Holdings bought 51% controlling shares in the Sharks. And they were like, this means that they're gonna get Siya. And I was like, oh hell no. I was like, please, God, like, I can't handle this. My heart can't handle this. I was like, say it ain't so. Please don't go anyway. Yeah. So I would rather prefer, I would have rather preferred Siya to move on overseas to France like everybody else and not to the rivals. Because I have a lot of friends who are Shark supporters and they know me when we watch the rugby together that I don't want to hear it from them if we beat them or if they beat us. There's no talk about it. It is what it is. And my brother's a Shark supporter. One of my best friends are Shark supporters. My colleagues at work, majority of them, most of my like closest friends that are my colleagues at work are Shark supporters. My best friend is from KZN, so she is a staunch Shark supporter. So yeah, I'm surrounded by Sharks, and I've always prided myself that I've been the longest supporting. I've supported the same team for the longest time compared to all of them, yeah, put together. Because yeah, it's been a while. So yeah, my love for the Stormers actually started way back when I was in high school. Because one of my favorite Stormers was obviously it was Bobby Skinstad. Like him and chewing that gum, it reminded me of Dr. Kumalo, the soccer player. So yeah, there was a thing about him. He had that swag thing going on for him, which I still love. Even when I like ran into him a few years ago at Abonya Mall, and I was like thinking, like he's so friendly, he's so nice. He spoke to me, we were relating. So yeah, and then obviously there was Brent Russell. I've been in love with Brent Russell for the longest time because he also used to go to my little brother's school in St. Stithians. So yeah, my brother was in the same class with his younger brother. So yeah, yeah, I loved him. But then again, like after he played for the Stormers, he moved on to the Sharks, which was like, I think maybe that's where the pain started about the Sharks because they kept taking our best players. Like I understand how Lions supporters feel because the Lions will get players from high school, groom them, play with them, and then next thing you know, they're moving on to the Bulls, they're moving on to the Stormers, they're moving on the story of Brian Habana, who was also one of my favorites. Like as soon as while he was playing for the Bulls, I thought he was so spectacular when he scored that winning try. I can't remember which year it was for Super Rugby for the Bulls against the Sharks. When the Sharks thought they were going to win the title, but then the Bulls got it in the last minute, which was like awesome for them. So I thought that was like, that was one of those breakthrough moments. That were one of the few players who made me love the sport. Like if anybody who's so good at what they do, like there's nothing more attractive than somebody who's so good at what they do and they love what they do and you can see it when they perform. So with Brian Habana, like I thought he was like so amazing. And then obviously there was Luke Watson. another one where I have my rugby girly moments, and I had hot eyes in my eyes in the early 2000s when he was playing for the Stormers and he moved on to the Sharks. I see a trend. I see a trend. I see a trend. And this is why I can't support the Sharks. I'm sorry. I can't. Like, I have nothing against the Sharks. They're a great team. They got a nice young squad. They got cute boys there. It is what it is. But I can't relate. The Stormers have this grit about them. Even though they can't finish, they can't win a tournament, they will get to the semi-finals and just mess it up, or get to the finals. They were playing against which what was the team? That New Zealand team, I can't remember now. Like, it escapes my mind. And then next thing, they were doing so well throughout the whole tournament, and then when they got to the pinnacle moment where this is it, this you could win this, they just mess it up. I think it was the Chiefs. Yes, they were playing against the Chiefs a few years ago in the finals for Super Rugby, and the Chiefs won the title. It is what it was, but that was amazing for them to do that for the city of Cape Town, and like the support there was awesome. Yeah. And then another one of my favorites, Skalkberger. You can see the hot eyes every single time I mention these people. Like, Skalk has been an amazing superhuman to me. I believe that he is superhuman because he hurt his back and then he went away, and I think he took a year off to recover from his surgery, and people didn't think he would come back to play the sport, and then next thing, a year later, he comes back. Because it kind of reminded me of Shaun White. Shaun White is a snowboarder, because I also love X Games, and I think he's such an amazing person because every single year he dominates the giant pipe, and the next thing, like, he broke his knee. He broke his knee one time, and he was gone for a year. First year when he came back the following year, he won the title again, which is, I think, is amazing. I think it's the most attractive thing to have somebody who is so good at what they do and like continues to like dominate, continues to be the best, and shows like every single year consistently, like how Brian Habana has been doing it, all the World Cups and everything else. And you will see the list of players that I've loved from the Stormers, that are the reason why they're my favorites. And anybody who listens to this will understand when to see like how good these people are, and the reason why I love them for how good they are with their craft. And then obviously Siya, he was the replacement for Skalk during that time, and he did his thing, and that's when I was like, this is the guy. He is the one, and and then now he broke our hearts on Valentine's Day, tweeting out like that he's leaving. He's parting ways with the Stormers. That's when the news came out. That's why I needed 7 days to grieve, to get it out of my system, and like rethink and try to. I don't know which other player is how my love for the Stormers will be, that flame will be lit again, like it always has every single year without fail. I still don't know how. Yeah, my other favorites were Tian Liebenberg, Bongi. He's still in the Stormers. Skara, he's still there. One of my favorites. They're doing their thing. And then there was Frans Malherbe. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And then there's obviously the redhead, Kurtov, my favorite. Every time he's in there, you see him on the field. He makes his presence known. Love him. And my two favorite Giants, Peter Steph du Toit, aka PTSD. Anybody who's seen him play will know, like, this guy is good at what he does. And we took him from the Sharks, so I guess maybe this was payback in some kind of way for that. But it is what it is. And of course the other Giant, Eben Etzebeth. my other favorite guy. Like when he comes back to the country, I hope he goes back to the Stormers. So we can only hope. We can only pray. And then my other favorites was Dwayne Vermeulen, Thor. He's yeah. I have a thing for number 8 players. That position. If you dominate and you become captain and you're in that position, you're gonna be the top of my list of crushes that I have on rugby players. And obviously there was Nizam Kaur, who's also number 8, and left the Stormers. It is what it is. It's still not there. Yeah. And other players that were my favorites was Nick Groom, one of my other favorites. And then there was Francois Hougaard. He went to the Bulls thereafter, and then now is overseas still. And then there was Enrico January, one of my other favorites. And my favorite number 9, who is still playing for the Stormers right now, is Herschel Yankees. And he made an impact. He made an impact last year. 2020 and 2019 were his years. He was doing the best thing ever. He did the thing with during the World Cup in 2019. So for the past 2 years, like, he's been flying the flag. That guy, like, I love it. So I guess maybe he's the only big Stormer right now who's doing the things for me by being so good at what he does. But yeah. And then the other players that I'm in love with, besides Brian Habana, obviously, I mentioned him earlier. There was Jacques Fourie, and then Tondorai Shavanga. Remember him? Yeah, Shavanga, right? My other favorites, obviously, after that, Jacques Fourie, I mentioned him, right? Yeah, Jean de Villiers. He's always been my captain. I call him captain, my captain, and yeah, he'll always be like, yeah, that guy has something. He's got something. There's something about him, how he leads the team, how he plays, and everything else. Like he'll always be one of my favorites, all-time favorites. And then of course Cheslin, the little speedy little, yeah. Like I love him. Cheslin is one of the best wings I know of so far. One of my favorites. He's over in France, and he's doing the best thing he's doing his thing there, which I'm all for. And of course, I hope when he comes back to the country, he comes back to the Stormers. So yeah, let's hope, let's pray. Jean de Jong, one of my favorite, also another one of my favorites. He never got the credit that he deserves. And yeah, if he ever sees this video, I appreciate you. I appreciate the work that you've done. I appreciate everything that you've done for South Africa and for the Stormers. And I think you're one of the best out there. Top, he's part of my all-time favorites. And obviously, there was Gio Aplon, who was my favorite fullback for the Stormers, and then he moved on to France. And when he came back to play for the Bulls. I'm still hurting about that. I should have done a video to talk to him, to be like, what's happening, why, and why. But yeah, he's always been one of my favorite fullbacks. That one, and of course Dylan Leeds. I still can't get over. Remember when he did that pass when he fell? Like, he did the pass and like it was just so effortless. And yeah, besides Sonny Bill Williams with the offloads, he's always been one of my favorites. Yeah, I'll put him up there with Sonny Bill, SBW. Yeah, and of course Percy Montgomery, my other favorite fullback and all-time favorite Springbok. And I met him one time in Cape Town on my birthday trip, and he was so nice to me at Premi Piatti. So he's right up there. And Joe Peterson, who's doing his thing. I see him on Instagram. He's out there in the bush fighting for the rhinos. So it appeals to my Aquarian heart, because we are humanitarians. So yeah, he's one of my faves. And then there's Dimitri Katekilis. He's always been my favorite, that one. He's always been my favorite, number 10 for the Stormers. And he moved on to the Kings. And yeah, he's playing for the Kings right now. So he's one of my favorite number 10s. Then there was like Lionel Crinier. The short time he played for the Stormers, he made an impact on my rugby love for the game. Yeah, Peter Grant, right? And then obviously, the other guy who's still in the Stormers, Sabelo Senatla, one of my other favorites, and he's been my favorites ever since I've seen him play for the Sevens, just like Cheslin, like from Sevens to Stormers, and I thought like that was a good buy for Province. So right now, I don't even know about the management there and how they're managing their players. So yeah, and then obviously the best there ever was Chester Williams. I think he's been my favorite since I was in school, since I was little. So yeah, he gave us some good memories, that one, rest in peace up there. And yeah, those are all my favorites. And right now, I don't even know, like with the ones that I left in the team, if it's enough for me to keep supporting the Stormers. So I don't know, guys, like let me know in the comments below if which other team deserves my liking, because if the Cheetahs were still in contending against the other teams, I could have gone Cheetahs because Free State. My family's from the Free State, so Hak Vrystaat. The Bulls. I supported them for a little while while I was in high school before I moved on to the Stormers, because I was only starting to learn about rugby then from my little brother, and they never gave me that thing. Even with Jake White, I don't care about winning titles or whatever. I just need a team with players who have passion for the game and stuff. Yeah, it's been a long video. Let me get a drink. It is past midday, so it's allowed. So it's a pink drink with a pink straw, and yeah, I need it. I needed to deal with this pain, and especially now that I'm gonna talk about the Sharks players that I love, that I respect, that I don't mind, like I used to that I support. So obviously, the best there ever was for the Sharks, Frans Steyn. I remember 2007 World Cup when we won in France. One of the main guys who did the long distance kicks. Like, he's always been my favorite since back then. So Frans Steyn, and when he went away to France, and then remember when he came back into those Springboks with that with the long hair, and he looked like a girl, and then he gained that extra weight. So I don't know, the chicken in France, the croissants, what was going on? Well, what is this? So, and then now he's back at the Cheetahs, because the transition for Sharks players is to go back to the Cheetahs, because somehow they're going back home. That's that's what someone once said on Twitter. Like, all the Sharks players going back to the Cheetahs, they're going back home. And obviously, the Lions players going to the Bulls or the Sharks or wherever, they're graduating from, being boys into being men. So no shade on the Lions. I still love you. Yeah, maybe I should start supporting. No, I can't support the Lions right now, because until that coach Ackerman, he comes back from coaching Glasner, because he did the best thing ever since he left. Like, the Lions were coming back for a hot minute for a couple of years, and then poof, the coach left to go coach in England, and look at where they are now. So I can be maybe a 50% Stormers supporter and 50% Lions. Is that possible? Because I am from Joburg, born and bred, if anybody wants to know. So yeah, I'm a Joburg girl. So maybe I can support. Yeah, then I think I'll do 50-50 for this year and see how it goes. Yeah. So yeah, it is what it is. And obviously Mbovo, like I mentioned earlier, like, he was one of my favorite wingers, and he was so fast. So yeah. And then there was like the Dupree brothers. Like, I once tweeted, like, I saw a tweet saying, like, first time, like, 3 siblings in SA are in the same team, because one of the brothers was playing for the Stormers as number 10, and then he moved to the Sharks, and then now they're overseas, I think, somewhere. I wonder where they are. I wonder how they're doing. And then obviously Kenkowski, he's always been my favorite. The curly hair. What's not to love there? Like, he was my favorite. And then obviously there was Jacques Potgieter with the hairstyle, who went to play in Australia for a minute, which I didn't understand. It's just like my other favorite rugby player, Cyril Pretorius, went from the Cheetahs and then moved over to Australia for a bit, came back. I still also think he was one of the most underrated players, him and John de Jong, like the most underrated players. And if you also gonna watch, like, I want you to know I appreciate you for the work that you've done for the country and for your teams. So please come back. Go to the Stormers or something, please. And also there's my favorite, Tera Mtembu, Tera the Terrible. Love him. And also he's another underrated player. I don't know why he's not getting the glory that he deserves. And then there's Spura Stole, who followed me for a bit on Twitter. Yeah, he's one of the greats as well. He's not out there. He's not visible. I don't see him when he plays. Like, you know, there's players that you notice because they're doing the most on the field. And he's one of those, like, he stopped for a minute. Then there's obviously the brothers that I've always loved, Bismarck and Yanni Duplessis, the Dr. Yanni Duplessis. Yeah, and they're over in France as well. They're doing their thing, but like, yeah, you know, Bismarck has always been my favorite. And of course, the little boy. My mom used to call him the little boy, Pat Lambie. Shame, man. Like, it's such a shame that his rugby career ended so abruptly at such a young age while playing in France. But yeah, you know, these things happen, and he's always been one of my favorite Springboks. Always been my favorite fly half. So yeah, there's quite a lot of fly halves. There's quite a lot of number 8. There's a few hookers there that I love. So as you can tell, like, my love for rugby and my love for the team, and I'm just still trying to piece together my thoughts and my love for the game, because I don't even know anymore who to support. So maybe I'll just remain neutral, but it'll be 50-50 between the Lions and the Stormers, and then we'll see how the year goes. But yeah, man, I think I'm getting over the shock from Siya. Yeah. So thank you for listening to me ramble on. And I hope I didn't waste your time, and I hope you can help me, like, convince me. Maybe I should go Sharks, because everybody else in my life, like literally 90% or 80% of the people I know support the Sharks, who support rugby. So yeah, we'll see. And then the Bulls, like, I also can't. Jake White, what he did. My husband, my person supports the Bulls because he grew up in Pretoria, but I don't appreciate that whole, like, just because you're from a certain place that you should support the team of that town or that place. But yeah. Thank you for listening to this, and like and subscribe, or whatever, you know, what these YouTube people say all the time. I don't even know. I'm still getting the hang of this. So yeah, I hope you liked what I said, what I had to say, my thoughts, and I hope I don't even know if anybody else shares my views on this, and as heartbroken as I am as a supporter of the Stormers. We will get through this. We will prevail. Okay, thank you. Thanks for joining me. And I hope we can talk some more about this. But then again, we'll see what happens. And yeah, the next video will come in soon. And thank you again for Miss D's desk.